Part 1.
The setup. When life gives you lemons. Alright, get ready because you're about to hear a story so wild, it still feels more like a movie plot than my actual life. You know the saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade? Well, honey, I didn't just make lemonade. I built a whole darn lemonade stand empire, while the dude who threw those lemons, let's just say, he's still picking up peels. Let's call him Mark. Mark was, well, he was my business partner. We started a marketing agency together about 5 years ago. Picture this. Two bright-eyed, bushy-tailed millennials, armed with laptops, espresso, and the unwavering belief we were the next big thing. We actually were doing pretty well. Our agency, Synergy Solutions, yeah, I cringe at the name now, too, was landing some seriously cool clients. I handled the creative and client relations, basically the face of the company, always networking, charming clients, and coming up with the big ideas. Mark? He was supposed to be the operations guy, the numbers, the back end, the adult supervision, if you will. We were making good money, had a cool downtown office, and even started doing those team-building retreats that are basically excuses for day drinking and pretending to enjoy trust falls. Life was, dare I say, good. I was financially independent, living in a sweet loft apartment with my rescue dog, Luna, and genuinely excited about the future. I even started joking with my mom about finally being able to afford to buy her that ridiculous robot vacuum she always wanted. Things were clicking. But you know that feeling when things are too good? That little voice in the back of your head whispering, "Girl, this is setting up for some serious drama?" Yeah, that voice was about to get real loud. I was really proud of what we were building. Synergy Solutions wasn't just a job, it was our baby. We had started it from scratch in a tiny, shared workspace, fueled by instant ramen and sheer determination. We'd pulled all-nighters pitching to clients, celebrated small wins like they were major victories, and commiserated over the inevitable setbacks. It felt like we were in it together, truly partners in every sense of the word. I valued Mark. I considered him not just a colleague, but a friend. We knew each other's families. We'd been there for each other through personal ups and downs. That's why what happened next hit so much harder. It wasn't just a business betrayal, it was a personal one. We were getting recognized in the industry, too. We'd won a couple of local awards for our innovative campaigns, and we were starting to get noticed by bigger players. There were talks of potential acquisitions, bigger partnerships. I was already fantasizing about expanding the agency, hiring more creatives, opening a branch in LA, maybe even dare to dream going international one day. I envisioned a future where Synergy Solutions wasn't just a successful agency, but a force to be reckoned with, known for its creativity, its integrity, and its commitment to its clients and employees. It felt like we were on the cusp of something truly amazing, and I was excited to share it with Mark, to build it together. My loft apartment was my sanctuary. High ceilings, exposed brick, huge windows overlooking the city. It was my little slice of urban paradise. Luna, my golden retriever rescue, was the best roommate a girl could ask for. Always happy to see me, no matter how stressful my day had been. She was curled up at my feet right now as I'm writing this, snoring softly. She has no idea about the roller coaster I'm about to take you on. She just knows she's getting extra treats later. My family was proud of me. My mom, bless her heart, still didn't really understand what I did. So, you advertise things on the computer? But she beamed with pride whenever I told her about a new client or a successful campaign. My dad, a retired accountant, actually did understand the business side, and he was always ready with advice, even if I didn't always take it. They had supported me from day one, even when I quit my stable corporate job to chase this crazy entrepreneurial dream. I wanted to make them proud, to show them that their faith in me wasn't misplaced. And for a while, it really felt like I was succeeding. But that feeling of everything being perfect? Yeah, that's usually the moment when the universe decides to throw a wrench in the works. And boy, did it throw a wrench. More like a whole toolbox. Get ready for part 2. This is where the fairy tale ends and the thriller begins.
Part 2.
The drop. Plot twist served cold. It started subtly. Mark became distant. Less joking, more buried in spreadsheets. He started staying late at the office, and when I'd ask what he was working on, he'd just brush it off with some jargon about restructuring and optimizing. Red flag number one, right? But I was busy. We were swamped with a new campaign for a major tech client, and honestly, I trusted him. We were partners. We were friends. Fool me once. Then came the email. Anonymous. Subject: just thought you should know. Inside was a Dropbox link. I clicked it, my heart already doing that nervous flutter thing. And there it was.
Spreadsheets.
Bank statements. Emails. All laid out, clear as day. Mark hadn't just been restructuring. He'd been systematically siphoning money out of our company accounts, setting up shell corporations, funneling client payments into his personal accounts. We're talking serious cash. Enough to make my jaw drop and my stomach do a slow-motion flip. The email also included screenshots of his conversations with a lawyer, detailing his plan to eventually buy me out for pennies on the dollar, claiming the company was struggling and he was saving it with his restructuring. He was going to take everything we'd built, everything I had poured my heart and soul into, and leave me with nothing. Betrayal doesn't even begin to cover it. It felt like getting punched in the gut by someone you trusted with your life. I remember just sitting there, in my loft, Luna nudging my hand with her wet nose, the city lights buzzing outside, and this ice-cold feeling spreading through me. Not just anger, but disappointment. How could someone I considered a friend, a partner, be so calculated? So ruthless? It wasn't just about the money, although the amount was substantial enough to be life-altering. It was about the deception, the blatant disregard for our friendship, for everything we had built together. It felt like he had been playing a role all along, and the real Mark was someone I didn't even recognize. I reread the emails, the bank statements, again and again, trying to make sense of it. Each piece of evidence was like a fresh stab of pain. He had been meticulous, methodical. He had clearly been planning this for months, maybe even years. It wasn't some spur-of-the-moment lapse in judgment. It was a calculated, cold-blooded scheme. The sheer audacity of it took my breath away. He must have thought I was completely clueless, so focused on the creative side that I wouldn't notice the financial shenanigans.
He underestimated me.
Big time. I thought back to all those late nights he'd spent working, all those times he'd brushed off my questions about the finances. It all clicked into place with sickening clarity. He wasn't working late, he was covering his tracks. He wasn't optimizing, he was stealing. And he was doing it all with a smile on his face, pretending to be my friend, my partner. The level of duplicity was staggering. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. I ran to the bathroom, stomach churning, and just barely made it to the toilet before everything I'd eaten that day came back up. It wasn't just the shock. It was the realization that I had been so blind, so trusting. I prided myself on my intuition, my ability to read people. And yet, I had been completely, utterly, fooled by someone I thought I knew better than anyone. After the initial shock and physical reaction subsided, I sat back on my couch, Luna now licking away the tears that were starting to stream down my face. The city lights outside seemed to mock me, their bright indifference a stark contrast to the turmoil inside me. I felt lost, betrayed, and deeply, deeply hurt. But beneath the hurt, something else was stirring. A flicker of anger. And that anger was starting to ignite a different kind of fire. Not one of despair, but of resolve. This wasn't going to be the end of my story. It was just the beginning of a new chapter. And this time, I was writing the ending. But beneath the shock, something else started to bubble up. Not tears. Not despair. Something sharper. Something strategic. That little voice in my head? It wasn't whispering anymore. It was shouting. Oh, hell no. Game on, buddy. And with that thought, the ice-cold feeling started to shift. It was still cold, but now it was the coldness of steel. The coldness of determination. The coldness of revenge. Get ready for part 3. This is where I start turning those lemons into weapons-grade lemonade. Part 3. The strategy. Playing chess, not checkers. Alright, let me tell you, I am not one to back down from a fight, especially when someone tries to pull a fast one on me. But I knew I couldn't just storm into Mark's office, guns blazing. He had the insider advantage. He thought he was 10 steps ahead. I needed to be 20. This wasn't just about getting my money back. It was about making sure he understood exactly who he was messing with. Time to play chess, not checkers. First things first, I needed proof. The anonymous email was gold, but I needed to verify everything. I spent the next few days in stealth mode. Normal me at the office. All smiles and business as usual. Secret me at home. Burning the midnight oil, digging through company records, downloading every file I could get my hands on, backing everything up onto a secure encrypted drive. Thank you, YouTube tutorials. I even hired a forensic accountant, best money I ever spent. She was like a financial ninja, uncovering every shady transaction, every hidden account. Within a week, we had a rock-solid case. He had left a digital paper trail a mile wide, thinking he was so clever. Turns out, spreadsheets aren't as secure as you think, Mark. While I was gathering evidence, I was also thinking about my next move. I could go straight to the lawyers, sue him, drag it out in court for years. Ugh, so messy. So boring.
Nah, I wanted something more satisfying.
Something with a little drama. Plus, lawsuits are expensive. I needed a strategy that would not only expose him, but also benefit me. I wasn't just interested in revenge. I wanted to come out of this stronger, better, and wealthier than before.
Petty?
Maybe.
Strategic?
Absolutely. I spent hours brainstorming, pacing around my loft, Luna watching me with her head tilted, probably wondering if I had finally lost it completely. I considered various options. Exposing him publicly on social media? Too messy and potentially damaging to my own reputation, even though I was the victim. Going to the police immediately? Effective, but again long and drawn out, and wouldn't necessarily get me the immediate satisfaction or financial recovery I was craving. No, I needed something more elegant, more impactful. Something that would hit him where it hurt most, his ego, his reputation, and his bank account. That's when it hit me. Mark thought he was buying me out?
Fine.
Let him. But I wasn't going to just sell him my half of Synergy Solutions. I was going to sell him a Trojan horse. A ticking time bomb wrapped in a pretty little package. The buyout was the perfect opportunity. He wanted to take over the company?
Great.
I'd let him have it. But I'd make sure he inherited a company riddled with landmines, ready to explode the moment he took full control. My plan started to take shape. I would play the role of the defeated partner, the one who was ready to cut her losses and move on. I would agree to his lowball buyout offer, sign the papers, and walk away, seemingly defeated. He would be ecstatic, thinking he had pulled off the perfect heist. And then boom. I would unleash the evidence, not just on him, but on everyone who mattered, clients, employees, industry connections, and yes, eventually the authorities. The fallout would be spectacular. And while he was busy dealing with the wreckage, I would be quietly building something even better, capitalizing on his downfall and emerging as the true victor. It was risky, it was bold, but it was exactly the kind of move that would not only punish him, but also propel me forward. Operation Trojan Horse was a go. Time to put on my poker face and prepare for the performance of a lifetime. Part 4 is where the real show begins. Part 4. The execution. Operation Trojan Horse is a go. Here's where things got fun. I walked into Mark's office the next Monday morning, all sunshine and smiles, like nothing was wrong. "Mark," I said, all sweetness and light, "we need to talk about the future of Synergy." He looked smug, like a cat who'd just swallowed the canary. "I was just about to schedule a meeting," he said, leaning back in his leather chair. "I've been doing some restructuring analysis, and frankly, the numbers aren't looking great. I think maybe it's time we consider parting ways. I'm prepared to offer you a generous buyout." Generous?
Please.
His idea of generous was probably enough to cover a month's rent and maybe a fancy dinner. Definitely not a fair share of the company we had built together. I just smiled. "Mark, you know I trust your judgment. Numbers aren't really my forte. You handle that so well. If you think a buyout is the best way forward, I'm open to it." I could practically see the dollar signs flashing in his eyes. He thought he'd won. Oh, honey, you have no idea. I played the part of the weary, slightly overwhelmed partner, sighing dramatically, running a hand through my hair, and talking about how stressed I was feeling. I even threw in a few lines about wanting to take some time off and reevaluate my priorities. Oscar-worthy performance, if I do say so myself. We negotiated, which basically meant I let him lowball me, pretending to be stressed and worried about the company's future. Inside, I was doing a happy dance. We agreed on a ridiculously low buyout price, and I signed the papers, all smiles and forced cheerfulness. He practically skipped me out of the office. He even clapped me on the back and said something condescending like, "Don't worry, you'll land on your feet. You're a creative type." Creative type? Honey, I'm about to get very creative with how I dismantle your entire life. The moment I was out of the building, though, the smile dropped. Time for phase 2. Remember that forensic accountant? Yeah, she wasn't just there to find the evidence. She was there to help me weaponize it. We prepped a full report, airtight, irrefutable, detailing every single one of Mark's fraudulent transactions. It wasn't just a dry financial document. It was a narrative, a story of betrayal and deceit, laid out in clear, damning detail. We included screenshots of emails, copies of bank statements, everything meticulously organized and presented in a way that even someone who didn't understand finance could grasp the magnitude of his fraud. Then we sent it. Not to the police, not yet. First, we sent it to every single client of Synergy Solutions. Subject line: important information regarding the future of Synergy Solutions.
Oops.
And to make sure it really landed with a punch, we didn't just send it as a plain email. We created a visually compelling PDF with bold headings, clear bullet points, and even a timeline of Mark's fraudulent activities. Presentation matters, especially when you're delivering a knockout blow. We wanted to make sure no one could miss the message and no one could dismiss it as fake news. This was the unvarnished truth, delivered directly to the people who mattered most, our clients. Phase 1 of Operation Trojan Horse. Complete. Brace yourselves, because Part 5 is where the fireworks truly begin.
Part 5.
The downfall. Karma is a B. Let me tell you, the next 24 hours were pure, unadulterated chaos. Clients started calling. Big clients. Angry clients. Confused clients. What is this? Is this true? We need to discuss our contract immediately. Mark's phone, I heard later, was blowing up so hard, it practically melted. My phone was blowing up too, but for a very different reason. Clients were calling me, not Mark. They were asking for clarification, expressing their shock and outrage, and most importantly, asking what I was going to do. They trusted me. They knew my work. They were disgusted by Mark's actions, and they wanted to know if there was a way to salvage the situation, preferably with me at the helm. He tried to do damage control, of course. Tried to deny everything, call it disgruntled ex-partner. Fake news. The whole playbook. But the evidence was too solid. Too detailed. And, crucially, it came directly from me, the face of the company, the person clients trusted. His carefully constructed house of cards crumbled faster than you can say financial fraud. His attempts at denial were pathetic, almost comical. He tried to spin it as a misunderstanding, a minor accounting discrepancy, even going so far as to suggest I was somehow misinterpreting the data. But no one was buying it. The report was too damning, the evidence too overwhelming. His reputation, which he had so carefully cultivated, was evaporating before his very eyes. Within days, Synergy Solutions was hemorrhaging clients. Reputation? Shredded. Business? Tanking. And then the real fun began. Because, oh yeah, I also sent that little report to the authorities. The SEC. The IRS. You name it, they got a copy. Suddenly, Mark wasn't just dealing with angry clients. He was dealing with investigations.
Audits.
Subpoenas. Lawyers. Expensive lawyers. His generous buyout money? Yeah, that was going straight to legal fees. And let me tell you, Those legal fees were mounting faster than his stolen profits were dwindling. He went from thinking he was a financial genius to realizing he was facing serious jail time. The smugness on his face was replaced by a look of sheer panic. It was glorious.
Karma, right?
It's real, and it wears a sharp suit and carries a very detailed spreadsheet. Mark went from smug CEO to panicked pariah faster than you can refresh your news feed. And the best part? He completely, utterly underestimated me. He thought I was just the creative one, the face of the company. He thought I wouldn't understand the numbers, wouldn't see through a scheme. Big mistake, buddy. Huge. He had focused so much on the financial manipulation that he completely overlooked the human element, the relationships I had built, the trust one had earned. And that, my friends, was his ultimate downfall. He thought business was just about numbers, but he forgot that it's also about people. And when you betray those people, especially the ones who trust you, you pay the price. And Mark was about to pay dearly. But while he was sinking, I was rising. Part 6 is all about the phoenix rising from the ashes. Part 6. The triumph. From ashes to awesome. So, what happened to me, you ask? Did I just sit back and watch Mark's spectacular downfall? Hell no. Remember all those clients who were suddenly left in the lurch when Synergy Solutions imploded? Yeah, I called them. All of them. Not to gloat, not to trash talk Mark, okay? Maybe a little trash talk, but just a tiny bit. I called them with a solution. I knew they were in a tough spot. Their marketing campaigns disrupted, their deadlines looming. They needed someone they could trust, someone who understood their needs, and someone who could deliver fast. And I knew I was that someone. Look, I said, I know this is a mess, but I built those relationships with you. I understand your needs, and I'm not going to leave you hanging. I proposed a new agency. Cleaner, leaner, meaner in a good way. Phoenix Marketing, I called it. Get it? Rising from the ashes? Yeah, I'm cheesy like that. I explained my vision. A boutique agency focused on personalized service, creative excellence, and ethical business practices. No shady dealings, no backstabbing partners, just honest, hard work, and exceptional results. And guess what? They came with me. Almost all of them. They trusted me. They knew I delivered results. Within weeks, Phoenix Marketing was booming. We were smaller, smarter, and way more efficient than Synergy ever was. We didn't have the dead weight of a backstabbing partner dragging us down. And the best part? I owned it. All of it. No more partnerships. No more trusting the wrong people. Just me, my talent, and my kick-ass team. I hired some of the most talented and ethical people I knew, creatives who had also been disillusioned by the corporate world and were hungry for a place where they could do great work without compromising their values. We built a culture of trust, transparency, and collaboration, the exact opposite of the toxic environment Mark had created at Synergy Solutions. Mark? Last I heard, he was still restructuring his life from his parents' basement, facing multiple investigations and a mountain of debt.
Karma, right?
It's a dish best served spreadsheet style. I even heard through the grapevine that his lawyer had advised him to plead guilty and cooperate with the authorities to avoid even harsher penalties.
Serves him right.
Sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's simply living well and succeeding despite those who tried to bring you down.
So, that's my story.
From betrayal to triumph, from lemons to a lemonade empire. And you know what? I wouldn't trade it for anything. Okay, maybe I'd trade the betrayal part, but you know what I mean. It made me stronger, smarter, and way more strategic. And it taught me a valuable lesson. Never underestimate a woman with a plan, a spreadsheet, and a really good forensic accountant. And maybe, just maybe, a rescue dog who knows when you need a cuddle. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a robot vacuum to buy my mom. And maybe, just maybe, a slightly nicer one for myself. Because you know what? I deserve it. And so do you. Remember, no matter what lemons life throws at you, you have the power to make something amazing out of them. Just make sure you have a solid spreadsheet and a good forensic accountant on your side. You never know when you might need them. The end.